today we're going to talk about the basic principles of Pilates. What they are is, there's 5 of them, and they are the breath, pelvic placement, rib cage placement, shoulder placement, and neck placement. So join me on the mat and we'll go through them all. They're important because they are the backbone or the foundation, so to speak, in all the moves that we do in Pilates. So don't worry if you can't remember them all, but just know the more you'll start feeling these basic principles, you'll take them not only onto your mat, but into all your daily life activities. So they really help to build your strength from the inside out and give you a sense of moving with grace, alignment, and ease. All right, so let's lay down on the mat. Our feet are hip width apart, our knees are bent. So just take a moment and start to breathe. Obviously you're breathing already, but think about this time when you breathe, take an inhale through the nose and exhale, sounding breath through the mouth. So that's how we breathe in Pilates. We take a nice inhalation through the nose and we audible exhale through the mouth, almost as if you were fogging up a mirror or a pane of glass. So now where we send the breath, now you can take your hands on your rib cage and take an inhale. As you inhale through the nose, feel your rib cage filling up into your hands. And then as you exhale through the mouth, you may be able to feel your ribs move towards the center line of your torso, your abdominal wall. That's what we're looking for. So those ribs start to activate and fire the intercostal muscles of the ribs, which really help us come from a stronger place before we move. So it's that inhale, fill up, deep and wide, and exhale, ribs join in the center. And we want to try to feel a sensation of the rib cage on the back side of our body. Just be grounded to the mat. You can almost think deeper than your ribs. You can think of your lungs laying heavy towards the mat as well. So we're nice and solid and connected. One more time, inhale, fill up, and exhale. The ribs almost corset together and you feel that nice connection, that heaviness through the rib cage all the way around your spine. So another short point about the breath and the rib cage connection is that we breathe deep and low and wide into the side and back of our ribs and into the lowest lobes of our lungs, so that we try to stay out of that. Sometimes we can get into that high, shallow fight or flight breath pattern, which doesn't really give us a place of strength when we move. So it's a nice way to think about breathing even off your mat. So that's the breath. In Pilates, you'll breathe with every move. So every movement is accompanied with the breath. I always say, don't worry if you don't get the breath pattern right. Just try not to hold the breath. The next basic principle is the ribs again. So rib cage, not only do we talk about the ribs when we breathe, but we talk about the rib cage when we move. So if you'll join me in bringing your arms up over your shoulders, we're going to do it the way we don't want to do it in Pilates first. So take an inhale, and I want you to think about bringing your arms over your head as you arch your back without straining anything. But arch your back and allow your rib cage to just splay open. So there's zero connection on any of the muscles. It may feel like a nice stretch, but it really doesn't give us a point of strength, especially when we're doing our exercises. So on the next one, instead of that arch and splay, let's inhale to this time prepare, and then exhale breath to send the ribs down and together, almost like a tube, really connected top to our torso, and then maintain that and bring the arms back up. We'll try that again. It's an inhale, prepare, exhale, use the exhale breath to send the rib cage down towards your hip bones and come back up. Now we'll just start to scissor the arms and we'll challenge each side of our waistline, each side of our rib cage. So inhale, prepare, exhale, Your left arm will go back as your right arm travels down towards your hip. And then a little inhale as the arms pass. And exhale, exhale. And if you can imagine each side of the rib cage really drawing down towards the hip bone as that arm lowers towards your hip. Really good. And one more each side. Exhale and exhale and one. Good. Arms go back up. And let's talk about the shoulders. So now the ribs are nice and drawn down and together. We're activating our breath. And now we want to think about, in Pilates, keeping the shoulders down and away from our ears, the collarbone open, so that when we move, we're coming again from a point of strength and ease and grace with our movement. So if we're up high with our shoulders up towards our ears or rounded forward, we're really not in a point where we're connected to that shoulder joint to move as efficiently and as strongly as possible. So arms come back up, shoulder height. And this time take an inhale breath as you reach your arms up towards the ceiling. You can feel your shoulder blades drawing away from your spine. This is called protraction. Now we want to exhale, take that to a retraction. So we're just gonna slide or glide the shoulder blades down, almost as if we're drawing the shoulder blades down around maybe a little rope right in the center of our shoulder blades, and then we reach up again. And we do that for 3. Good. Inhale to protract, exhale to slide and retract 2. Good. 1 more and 1. And on the last one, if you can maintain that width through the collarbone, that slight retraction through the scapula, the shoulder blades, and then just bring your hands to your hips. Really good. So you'll hear as we progress through the moves, I'll say heaviness under the armpits, or that drawing the shoulder blade down towards the hip. That's just trying to access those strong side back body muscles that help to stabilize the shoulders. And that will become more natural the more you do the work. Okay, so the next principle, so we've gone over breathing, we've gone over rib cage placement, shoulder girdle. Now we're going to talk about the pelvis. So in Pilates, pelvic stability is really important because it helps to build core strength, and it helps to dissociate leg movement with hip movement. So we can really focus on stabilizing the body, the torso, against the movement of our limbs. So to find that, so it's neutral pelvis we're going to think about first. So neutral is just natural. It's the most shock absorbent place for our spine to be. A lot of us, because of just whatever's going on in our bodies, sometimes it's not possible for us to maintain a neutral spine and pelvis. So just trying to find that while we're lying here, first just place your hand under your neck, and there should just be a little space there. That's the natural curve of our spine. And then going to another point is just right under our low back. Maybe you can slide a finger under your low back. It's just a little space, so that if you can think of a spine like it's just a gentle S curve. Now, some of us are hyperlordotic or have a really arched low back. So if that's the case, sometimes we really just think of that putting some tactile, maybe a towel under your low back, just to help feel some heaviness on the bottom rib, most bottom rib, to help maintain contact there. Because in this neutral, we never want to feel strained trying to get there. So let's think about how we get there. So take your hands right inside. There's 2 bony points on top of your pelvis. So just take your 2 peace fingers. You can take those fingertips right inside there. And I want you to think about, there's 2 cups of water there, and we're going to first just try to spill those 2 cups of water towards our chest, and then we spill towards our thighs. And we're going to through these 2 extreme motions. And what neutral is where the water won't spill. So there's just balance between the 2 bony points in our pubic bone in the center, and we have that just maybe fingers width of space under the low back. So let's challenge that neutral spine and pelvis. And how we're going to do that is without spilling that water, without shifting through our pelvis, take an inhale, prepare, and then bring one leg to tabletop. So you have a 90-degree angle with your knee over your hip, best you can. And then inhale, prepare again. Exhale, other leg comes up. Now already I can feel my abdominal wall having to work to maintain the neutral so that I don't tip forward or arch my low back. So if you feel that happening, place one foot down and do a modification with just a single leg. Because again, we always want to work towards strength, not strain. We want to build you up, not break you down. So with that, I'm going to come back to 2 legs to table, pick which option works for you, and then take a breath in to prepare. And then actually, let's inhale down. So inhale, lower, exhale, use the exhale breath to fire the core to lift your leg bone back up. Okay, and then we switch. So it's an inhale and exhale. And just notice it through movement, what's happening in your body. Right now, I can really feel that low transversus abdominal wall. That's our deepest layer of muscle in our stomach. And it acts like, if you can think of saran wrap just cinching tight all the way around your waist, it compresses. It's almost, if you could cough, it's not almost, it is, it's that cough muscle. It's the muscle you use when you laugh. Let's do 2 more. And it helps protect and strengthen our low back. It compresses and protects our organs. It's very functional. And last one. I know we did more than 2, but that's okay. And 1, good job. And then lower 1 foot down and then the other. Really nice. So that challenged our pelvic stability. So we're really strong and stable through our hips. It also really lit up or fired our transversus. So that was 2 really good things. And you'll notice that movement, that cue of pelvic stability, transversus, that navel to spine, comes up all the time in Pilates. So it's really important, it's really functional. So then sometimes if we're not able to maintain neutral, what we'll do is imprint the spine. And that is, I'm not talking about jamming or tucking. All I'm talking about is just creating an inhale, prepare. This time bring your pinky on those hip points and your thumb on your most bottom rib, and take a breath in. And then connect those 2 points together so that you can feel really strong in your core. And you may feel like now your spine is almost like it's gently stamped into the mat. I didn't shift any bones. I didn't change any position. I just activated my waist muscles and my low abs, that transversus, a little more. So that when we challenge, you can bring 1 leg to table and then the other, or that modification of just 1 leg up. Now when we challenge that transversus, we're thinking, now let's start that again. Now that we challenge the pelvic stability, we're just a little more connected if you're not able to maintain that neutral pelvis, okay? So that's why sometimes we'll use imprint when we have our legs up in the air or for some other reasons, so that we just are a little stronger if we're not able to maintain that neutral without being in pain or without really going into that arched back. Okay, so then the last basic principle is our neck placement. So it's very important to keep the natural alignment of our neck, our cervical spine, in terms of keeping it aligned with the rest of our spine. So I'll show you what we don't want to do. So when we do exercises such as an ab prep, or in fitness it's known as an ab crunch, what we don't want to do is lift up by jetting our head and neck up and really straining and getting a really good neck workout, but we lose sight. So when I do that, my stomach pops up and I don't really have much connection in my core, but I feel a tremendous amount of pressure and strain in my neck. We don't want that. We want you to feel good. So what we do instead of that is, if you can imagine, just take a breath in, nod your chin a little bit as if you had a little clementine or small orange under your chin. Keep that, And then you'll start to hear that we go into the other basic principles. So then I'll say inhale, lengthen, and then join me in exhaling. Slide your shoulder blades down towards your hips as you start to lift your chest up. Good. Now in this position, just gaze down at your low stomach. Notice, did you tuck and shift out of your neutral? Try to maintain the length and the balance through your pelvis. If the neck still feels strained, by all means, place the head and the hands at the back of the head and keep your elbows and your peripheral vision. Good. So then we'll come back down. We're going to flow with this. We'll keep going. Let's keep our hands by our head. Take a breath in, just nod, and exhale. We go for 5 and down, and 4 and down. Good. Last 3. Nice balance through the hips. Head and neck come along for the ride. Just maintaining that nice easy gaze towards your thighs. 1 more. Big exhale and 1. Really nice. And they come down. Beautiful. So those were kind of, that last one, that ab prep, was tying those principles all together. We maintained our neutral, our ribs were wrapped, our shoulders were down, our collarbone wide, our neck was nice and aligned with our spine, and we were breathing. That exhale, ha, that snap, that ha sound. So really good. So you made it through your first exercise. So now we're just going to take those principles a little more and continue with a short workout on the mat. So join me now. Take an inhale. Let's bend and reach our left leg up to the sky. Now you can keep your knee slightly bent if that shifts you out of your neutral, or you can extend it all the way. 1 leg circle. So now take an inhale, circle your leg in towards yourself and then out and away. So it's an inhale, exhale. And as you do this, notice what's happening to the opposite side of your waist. If it's starting to hula dance or wiggle, try to really make that circle smaller. You can even bend the knee and shorten the lever even more so that you can wake up and light up that right side of your waist, that rib to hip connection, that low abdominal wall as well for 3. You can go long or bent, whatever works for you. 2 and 1. Let's go the other way. So it's like we're stirring the thigh bone and the hip socket, all the while maintaining that nice pelvic stability, collarbone wide for 3. You're doing great. Last 2, 1 more and 1. Really nice. Let's lower that foot down. Try the other side. Each side's always going to feel a little different. So ready, set. You can be bent knee, slightly bent, or all the way straight, whatever allows you to maintain that nice neutral spine and pelvis. And we inhale, circle in, exhale, circle out. Good. And again, remember, if you forget when to breathe, it's okay. Just try not to hold the breath. And 2 more. And 1. For me, it's harder to stabilize my left side. So I'm really thinking, just ground my left back of my hip bone down. A little more waist muscle on the other side for 3. Good. Last 2. And 1. Really nice. Foot goes down. Take an inhale, prepare. Exhale, 1 leg to table, then the other. All right, we're going to take 2 hands by outside. I have my left leg, but whichever side, doesn't really matter. So it's an inhale, nod. Exhale, we come up again, and single leg stretch. So we reach 1 leg long, pull your belly in, and then switch. Little baby inhale as the legs pass. Exhale. Now, again, if this is too much, head up, head goes down. You pick what works for you. We always have modifications. We want you to feel good. And breathe. 5. So the leg that's reaching, that leg is toned. My neck is free. You can always do 1 hand to the head as well. You're doing great, whatever variation you're doing. 2 more, and 2, and 1. Good job. And then knees come in. You lay down, take an inhale, exhale, just roll your low back around 1 way, the other. Amazing. Now let's talk about those waist muscles a little more. Hands will come to the back of the head. Take an inhale, nod. Exhale, scoop up. Now this time we're going towards, think right rib towards left hip. And really breathe into that side of your waist. Now, if you want a little more, you extend the opposite leg. Come back through your center and other side. If legs up is too much, you keep them bent and on the floor. Completely fine. I'm going back to the full version and we go. Exhale. Good. Now, as I'm doing this, again, pelvic stability. The leg moves independent of the hips. Good. And you breathe into the side you're turning to. Exhale. We move slow, controlled. Good. I know. Let's go for 2 and 2 and 1 and done. Awesome. Legs back up. It's scissor time. So what does that mean? Both legs either all the way straight if you have that flexibility and you can still maintain that neutral, or a slight bend in the knee. 2 hands behind one thigh. Inhale to nod. Exhale, scoop and lift. And now lower the opposite leg. My elbow points are just wide to the walls. And then you just give a small little pull without flexing or rounding the low back. You're still neutral. And switch. Good, breathe. Just snap the belly in when the leg comes towards you. So we're stretching the hamstring, the back of the thigh when it comes towards you. And a little bit of opening through the front of the hip flexor as it goes away from you. But it's all the leg muscles are toned, hugging the bone of the legs. And you go for last, let's see if I can count it right this time. And it's 2 and 2 and 1. No Pilates instructors can count well, it's a thing. And done. Really nice. Hug yourself, roll the low back around, and let's plant our feet on the floor and have out those glutes. So we'll do it's shoulder bridge or a bridge. And what we're talking about is working and strengthening the glutes and the hamstrings, which you just stretched a little bit with that last one, as well as core strength and spinal mobility, all right? So to start, your feet, again, they're sits bone width and your toes are pointing straight ahead. They're not out, they're not in, just nice and straight and neutral, parallel feet. Take an inhale here. We're in neutral spine and pelvis. Exhale, engage your abdominals and start to roll from the lumbar spine, the low back, all the way up until you're resting right on the base of your shoulder blades. In Pilates, we don't go higher than that because we don't want to be straining our neck or just resting on our neck. So we're here really opening through the hips, strengthening through the glutes, foundationing our feet, really even weight through all 4 corners of our feet. Collarbone is wide. Take a breath here just for balance. Inhale, exhale. Really nice. And then just start to melt your chest bone down, your upper ribs, your mid, till you're all the way back down to that nice release of the tailbone towards the mat. You have that little space. Let's do it again. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, pull the pelvic floor in, the low abs, we roll up. We have that nice line from our shoulders, diagonal line through our hips, out through our knees, really stretching, squeezing through the glute muscles. Nice and relaxed through the upper chest, shoulders, collarbone. Ready, set, here we go. We start to melt the sternum, the breastbone, towards the mat. We get each and every vertebra to make contact on the mat. Release the pelvis to neutral. Last one, inhale. Exhale, we curl up, bone by bone, nice and evenly weighted through the feet. Good. And then start to roll your spine down, one bone at a time. This time we maintain neutral, no more articulation. We're just challenging pelvic stability and the glute strength. So it's an inhale. Exhale, squeeze your glutes, we lift. And then we just hinge at the hips, we hover. And we lift and we hinge. Good. Exhale as you lift. Inhale to hinge. Last 5. Squeeze. Good. And 4. Last 3. Really good. Nice and even. 2. You can think you still have those cups of water on the hips. And 1. Now, here comes the fun. We challenge our balance. Can you inhale, prepare without spilling the water, without shifting the hips? Can you lift your left leg to table? And then we hinge and lift. Good job. Now, hello, right side booty. And that right side glute. 2 more. 2. Good. And 1. Put that left foot down. Reset, regroup. Try the other side. Right leg to table, and then we just hover and lift. And if there's any, if you're feeling strained, just make your range of motion smaller. Just stay closer to the floor. But if you really have it, then you push into the floor with that working side for 2, lighting up the left side of your glute, and 1. Good job. And then toe ball heel, come all the way down, legs straighten out. Just give your hamstrings a little stretch for a moment. You could do both or one at a time. Really nice. And then roll all the way over and let's open up. So in Pilates, we work all movements of the spine. We've done a lot of flexion with those abdominal curls. Now we're going into extension. So join me on your stomach. We also do rotation and we do side bending, lateral flexion. So we always want to make sure we hit all those movements. Right now, join me in hands under shoulders, legs hip width, and then just place your forehead on the mat. You can always put a little towel under your forehead to help keep the alignment of your head and neck if you felt like you were strained. And now, as if you had a little mouse house under your belly button, I want you to think of engaging your core, pulling your belly button away from your mat. And just take a breath in here. Light up your legs, meaning lengthen them towards the back of your mat. Legs are straight. And start to just slide your shoulder blades down as you lift your heart off the mat. So we're just in a nice modified breaststroke position. Now in this position, think of your elbows drawing down towards your hip bones, your collarbone widening. Your gaze is right towards the front of your mat so that your crown of your head is nice and long, neck is long. Take a breath in. Can you find a little more abdominals? Good. And then all the way back down, relax. Inhale, ready. We're pulling our belly in and lifting. Really good. And then we're not staying as long this time. Just exhale, go back down. 3 more. Inhale, shoulders down your back. Your heart shines open. You're getting longer, head forward. Feet back. You have that nice oppositional energy. Stomach in and back down. Good. Almost there. Slide the shoulders down your back. Lift the heart. The belly pulls in. Legs are long. Now, this should not be in your low back. I want you to think of really opening and drawing the shoulder blades down and back as if you were almost arching over a little beach ball. Not just a small movement. Good. And back down, and your stomach really helps to protect that low back. Let's just do 1 more inhale. Exhale, shoulders down your back, heart opens. It's like a turtle coming out of his shell. Your head drawing forward, legs are back. How you doing? And all the way back down. Nice job. That's a really important exercise, just strengthening your upper shoulders and back, especially because now so many of us are on screens all day, so it's a nice thing to do. Ground your forehead, knees are wide, arms are shoulder width. Take a breath in to the side and back of your rib cage. Exhale, connect the ribs. Belly comes in towards your spine. From here, let's just come to hands and knees. And almost done. Now, I like to work on the 4-point position because you have to engage your stomach against gravity. And it helps to work on our sling systems or opposite shoulder to opposite hip. It's a very functional movement pattern. So from here, let's talk about our position. So hands under shoulders, like I said, knees under hips. We're in a neutral spine and pelvis. You can always go on your knuckles too, if that's too much on your wrist. There's a soft bend in your elbows. Head in line with the spine. okay? And then just take a moment here. I want you to think of just dropping your belly to the mat. So just let everything you got just hang out, okay? And now take an inhale. And on the exhale, pull your abdominals up and away from your mat towards your back. So you're really engaged in that nice abdominal wall. Good, now maintain that connection. Inhale here. And now let's just stretch our right leg long. Now in this position, can you really squeeze your right glute, engage your quadricep, the front of your thighs, hold that. Good, now let's challenge our balance. Bring our left arm forward. I have my thumbs up, almost like I'm about to shake someone's hand. Good, now maybe you stay here. If you want a little more, bring that right leg up and just pulse. And squeeze through the back of the thigh and the glute, the butt. Exhale and exhale. That's it, good. Now I'm thinking as I do this, I'm staying very balanced in terms of my weight distribution with my knuckle or my hand and my knee that's on the mat. Stomach is in. Exhale, nothing else is shifting or moving, at least I hope not. I'm trying. For 5, fingers forward, foot back. Create some length in your body. 3, good. 2, and 1. Just stay for a little bit more of a stretch. Fingers forward, foot back. You're getting taller. Amazing. Hand down, knee down. Just take a cat-cow. So round the spine, exhale. And then inhale, the tailbone goes back to the back of your mat. Your heart lifts. And you're still engaged in your core, ribs are still connected. Easy on the neck, and again, exhale, round. Inhale, tailbone to the back wall, heart opens. Good, and let's try that other side. So now come to either your hands or your knuckles, and then slide your left leg back. Immediately just think square the hips, and squeeze that left glute. Good. My shoulders, I call it plumped up, and I'm pushing away from the mat so that I don't feel like I'm sinking into my shoulders, right? So we're nice and strong. And then ready, here we go. Right arm forward, shoulder down our back. You can stay here, or you bring that leg up to hip height. Hip points face down. Here we go. We pulse. Exhale. And exhale. So now I have that even weight distribution through the hand and the knee on the mat. My stomach is pulled in. Pelvic floor is engaged. I'm nice and long, thinking fingers forward, foot reaching back. That oppositional energy all powered by my breath and my abdominal strength. And you go. 5. Good. 4. You're getting stronger. 3. You're getting taller. 2. And 1. This is a really great spine strengthener. 2 for healthy back. Really nice. Take another cat-cow. So round your spine. Exhale. You can sit your hips back a little bit, stretching that lumbar fascia. And inhale, open the heart. Tail feathers or tailbone goes back. Good job. And then come to your side. We'll just finish with the mermaid stretch. Little side bend. So we've done flexion, we've done extension, we did rotation. Now we'll do a little lateral flexion to finish. So we sit like this because it helps to open our hips. If that doesn't work for you, you can either stack or you can come to just a cross-legged position, whatever's best. I'll teach it this way. So from here, take your arms out to a T. Your arms are strong, your heart is open. It's an inhale. We're just gonna come up and over. I have my palm up like I'm high-fiving the sky. And I'm getting that nice length from the pelvis to the fingertips on that ceiling side. Good, let it feel good. And then come back through. And then from here, just rotate towards your mat and get round. And you're gonna feel a little more stretch through your back. Good, breathe. And one more time, arms out to a T. And we go up and over, high five the sky. It's like you're stretching over a beach ball on that bottom side. And trying to stay just equal parts front and back. So if you feel yourself rounding forward, try to just stay nice and neutral. Good, and then arms out, we cartwheel over, a little rotation through the upper spine and flex. Nice job. And then come back to the other side or come over to the other side. So each hit may feel different. So just try to feel grounded through your sits bones in this position best you can. And Again, pick your position for your legs, arms out. I have my palms up, my muscle hugs the bone of my arms. And here we go. Ready, set, up and over. So stretch that top side. And then we come through and stretch. Good. And again, inhale and exhale. I'm gonna go this way this time. Up and over, high five the sky. There we are. Good, and then out to a T, and then ready. Ha, breath, get round. Feels really good. It's like you're wringing out your spine. One more, inhale and exhale, up and over, high five the sky. Good, and then arms to a T, and then we'll just rotate and round, pulling the ribs in. I'm still as upright as I can be in my hips. And you made it. So that today was more about just building the foundation. The next video, we will take all those principles into play and really build upon what you learned today. So thanks so much for listening. You did great. And I can't wait to see you on the mat next time. Bye.